totally backwards. We're diving into this really fascinating paradox: why being incredibly smart doesn't automatically make you rich. In fact, as we're about to see, sometimes it can do the exact opposite. I mean, you've seen this, right? You know those brilliant people, the engineers, the PhDs, the ones who are always top of the class, and yet they're barely making ends meet. And then you see other people, folks who might seem, just average on paper, and they're the ones building real financial freedom. What is going on there? So here's the thing. The problem isn't brain power. It's not about being smart or not. It's that intelligence, when it's not paired with the right actions and the right mindset, can actually become a huge roadblock. It's a blessing that can turn into a curse, and we're going to break down exactly how that happens. Okay, so let's get right into the diagnosis. We've basically pinpointed 4 specific traps that smart people fall into over and over again. Think of them as mental roadblocks that stop them from building the wealth they are more than capable of. Let's start with the big one. This is that classic analysis paralysis. But let's dig a little deeper. Why does this happen so often? Well, for a lot of intelligent people, their whole identity is built around being right. So the fear of making a mistake, of looking dumb, can be absolutely paralyzing. While they're busy trying to perfect the plan, that window of opportunity just slams shut. Thinking feels productive, but it doesn't pay the bills. And this right here perfectly illustrates that conflict. On one side, you've got the overthinker, just stuck, waiting for these perfect conditions that, let's be honest, are never going to show up. And on the other side, you have the action taker, who totally gets that just starting, even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect, is the only way you're going to learn, adapt, and eventually win. And here's a perfect real-world example. Think about Mark Zuckerberg. Was he the single best coder at Harvard? Probably not. But his advantage wasn't perfection. It was his willingness to launch something that wasn't finished and just figure it out in public. While other, maybe smarter people were designing a flawless system on a whiteboard, he was building a live, messy, and, as we all know, world-changing platform. Action beat perfection. Okay, let's move on to trap number 2. This one is super common, especially in academic circles and high-level professions. It's what we call the education illusion, this deep-seated belief that just getting more degrees and more certifications will automatically lead to more money. I mean, our entire school system trains us this way, right? It rewards us for knowing things, not for doing things. We get an A for having the answer. So here's the crucial point. Education is awesome, but it's just potential energy. It only becomes wealth. It becomes kinetic energy when you apply it. Look at Bill Gates and Elon Musk. They didn't wait around for a diploma to start executing. For them, application was way more valuable than just accumulating knowledge. Now, for another huge one. A smart person's superpower is being able to see all the angles, right? To see the complexity. But when it comes to taking a risk, that superpower can become their kryptonite. They can map out a dozen different ways a new venture could fail before they even let themselves think about how it might succeed. And that's a massive barrier to creating wealth. You see, building wealth almost always means you have to take some calculated risks. Sarah Blakely didn't get to where she is because she was fearless. Not at all. She succeeded because she acted in spite of her fear. She saw an opportunity, she understood the worst-case scenario, losing her $5,000, and she decided the potential upside was totally worth it. Without that one calculated risk, there's no billion-dollar reward. Simple as that. And that brings us to the 4th trap. And honestly, this one is maybe the most dangerous. Because it feels so safe, it feels so logical. It's the appeal of a steady, secure job. And it's not just about the money. It's about having a clear, predictable path and getting that pat on the back for having a good job. Something smart people are often trained their whole lives to chase. Look, that secure 9-to-5, it gives you comfort for sure, but it almost always comes with a hard cap on your income. You are literally trading away your uncapped potential for predictability. The action-oriented path, yeah, it's uncertain at first, but its potential for both wealth and freedom is basically limitless. It's the difference between staying in a safe harbor or sailing out into the open ocean. Okay, so we've just diagnosed the 4 big traps holding smart people back. But, a diagnosis is pretty useless without a prescription, right? So now let's flip this around and focus on the solution, how to adopt a completely new mindset that's actually built for creating wealth. So here it is. This is basically the blueprint for change. Step 1, embrace imperfection. Just stop waiting for the perfect moment and start. 2, value execution over just knowing stuff. Ideas are a dime a dozen until you act on them. 3, you gotta accept calculated risk, because growth only happens when you're uncomfortable. 4, diversify your income. Don't rely on that single paycheck. And finally, number 5, think long term. Real wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. And there is no better example of this than the man himself, Warren Buffett. I mean, it wasn't one genius stock pick that made him a billionaire. It was decades of small, consistent actions that he started when he was a kid. This just proves that the compound interest you get from consistent action is way, way more powerful than the one-time payout from a so-called perfect plan. All this talk about mindset is great, but remember what we said, we're shifting to an action-oriented mindset. Wealth is built by doing, not just by listening to someone talk about it. So let's break down what you can do, like right now, today, to get the ball rolling. You do not need a fortune to start. You just need to start. Taking one tiny, tangible step, like opening an investment account with just $50, can be an incredibly powerful move. It's not about the money. It's about breaking that cycle of inaction and rewiring your brain to just execute. So here's a simple checklist to get you going. And listen, don't try to do everything at once. Just pick one, just one of these, and commit to that single, small action. The goal here is not to get rich by next Tuesday. The goal is to build the habit of execution. This is how you turn that big brain of yours from a thinking machine into a wealth-building engine. So that's really the final question to leave you with. Your intelligence is your single greatest asset. It's this powerful engine. But an engine that's just left in neutral, well, it's not going anywhere. The only question left is, are you ready to finally put it in gear?